Good morning. Welcome to Jasiri, right here on News Central. It's the show where bold voices meet fresh perspectives on a daily basis. And today, yet again, we've got a packed episode for you. In just 1 hour, News Central will host a critical town hall on the Middle Belt. And later, we'll be joined by one of Nigeria's top stress management experts to explore how stress impacts our lives and our health. So it's a good time to watch Jasiri. But first, let's quickly check in with our colleague Bernard Akede, who's live in Jos, where the town hall will hold in the city of Plateau State. Bernard, good morning.
Good morning, ladies of Jasiri. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Buki. Good morning, Lolo. And I think I also heard Dashan's voice. Good morning, Dashan.
Yes, you did. Hi, Bernard. How are you holding up over there? And, you know, how are things, are the conditions helping or slowing down preparations? What's the stage like?
Well, like we say in showbiz, the stage is set. We're just waiting for the attendees and the participants who will join us. First of all, I must commend. I mean, it's a beautiful city here, the town of Jos, Plateau State capital. The weather is fantastic. It's not every time you are in Nigeria where you have temperatures as low as 17 degrees. It's giving you the abroad feeling, you know. But it's just a bit sad that a town as beautiful as this, and generally the Middle Belt region will be experiencing the kind of disheartening, I call them terror attacks, you know, on the people and infrastructure of the state. And that's actually what has brought us here, New Central Town Hall. I'll swing around so you can see already we have attendees coming in their numbers, and you can see them around filling the registration forms, getting their names and their details put down, so that we can have, a perspective, the number of people who will be attending or who have attended at the end of the event. Again, it's not just for Plateau State alone. Remember, we've been in Jos sometime last year, but this time we have the entire Middle Belt region. So this is the Middle Belt Town Hall. So we have participants and attendees from across the several states of the Middle Belt. So we're expecting that it will be a packed hall. This hall here, we have a capacity of about 400 plus. We hope that it's going to be, a very, very profitable and fruitful deliberations here for the town.
All right, Bernard, I know that one of the things that really worry, security is always a very serious concern in Plateau. What assurances have you been given to ensure that today's conversation happen in an atmosphere of, trust and peace, relatively?
Okay, first of all, yesterday we were able to meet with the General Officer Commanding, that's the GOC 3 Division, Nigerian Army, and he's also the commander of Operation Safe Havens. I'm talking of Major General Folusho Oyilola. We also paid a courtesy visit to the Plateau State Police Command, where we spoke to the Police Commissioner, Emmanuel Adeshino. And finally, we were able to meet the representative of the governor himself. That's talking about the Deputy Governor, in the person of Mrs. Josephine Pio. Now, all these 3 persons have given us assurance that they will be directly or indirectly participating in the program. And of course, security is assured. Everything else that we need will be in place. As a matter of fact, even the police commissioner himself said that he will be here in person. So we're looking forward to having him here. But most importantly, the people we are looking forward to having are the attendees, the people who in one way or the other have been directly or indirectly affected by the, I call it, needless and senseless violence that the Middle Belt region has seen so far. We want them to, as they always do in our town hall series, come forward and tell us their own direct experiences. So it's not just what we see or hear on social media. Now we are seeing them one-on-one, live on TV, and in front of us who are here to tell us what exactly has happened and what they hope can be done soonest.
Well, Bernard, it seems like we're expecting so many diverse voices, voices that don't often sit together at the same table. They'll be coming together to speak, about their challenges. But, how significant is today's town hall for the people of Plateau State and the wider Middle Belt region?
All right, before I tell you about how significant I think this town hall will be, I'd like to call 2 people who are here with me, who also are indigenous of the region, and I would let them speak their own truths. And then when they've done that, we would deduce the significance of today's deliberation. Please come forward, madam. Please tell us your name.
My name is Aisha Aliu.
Okay. Aisha, could you tell us while you are attending the town hall, what exactly has happened to you? How have you been affected by the insecurities in the state that has made you come to this town hall?
Well, actually, I've been affected by the insecurity issues in Plateau State because during the 2001 crisis, I lost my properties and some of my loved ones. So seeing this invitation and tagged One Voice, I am expecting that this platform should provide a forum for us, irrespective of our religion, ethnicity, and all that. We should all come together with one voice to tackle the issue of insecurity. And then especially as a woman coming from a women organization, we have a vital role and a very important to play in terms of insecurity. So I think this town hall meeting is very apt and timely. I hope that the deliberations that will be carried out in this town hall, the government and the security agencies will take it up so that we have a peaceful plateau once again.
Thank you so much, Aisha. We do hope that we'll have a peaceful plateau. Now, besides Aisha, I also have a gentleman here who would also join me. Very quickly, I'd like to hear from him what he expects, and then I'll wrap it up by telling you what I think we should be expecting. Good morning, sir. Please tell us your name and what you are expecting and why you are here. How did the insecurity issues in this Middle Belt region affect you?
First and foremost, my name is Silvanus Chi Basadimbo, a retired police officer, presently representing Association of Licensed Private Security Organizations in Plateau State. Like your question implies, in fact, there is a lot of things that is of a burden to us in this part of the country, where insecurity becomes the order of the day, unchecked, and if said checked, you have not seen it on the ground. Where an attack before you come to chase, which is very unfortunate, and these are people that are living in a place where everybody is supposed to know, and the authority that is concerned does not think that way. And also, I want to believe that the authority is not doing enough, because if you are doing enough, you don't wait until when they attack before you. And it is rendering homeless to the authority, because whatever thing they say that they will do or they cannot be seen done, because repeatedly these attacks are going on. You see a community that will come overnight and goes away unhindered. You wonder, where do they come from? How do they come? And we also, what struck me the more is that the authorities say they know where these people are coming from. One said they are not Nigerians. They are not Nigerians. What are we doing? Telling this. These are issues. Even with what we've heard from the radio reports, the United Arab Emirates have sent the list of these who are supporting this, and Nigeria government don't feel as if they should tell the Nigerians what's happening. It makes us to believe that there is lack of insincerity and purpose, and maybe there is collaboration somewhere. And in fact, within the security agencies themselves, there is division. Some are inclined to religion, some tribalism, and what have you. These are the basic that is suffering us in this country. Nobody is serious. Nobody wants to say do what he says, but they can only give us service slips. So we have problem in Nigeria. And unless if we are willing to say, let us be safe, otherwise we'll be in this limbo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, so you've heard the gentleman and the lady have said what they feel and what they're expecting. We're expecting to hear the truths of people who have been directly or indirectly affected. And to answer your question, Dashan, I think you were the one who asked, we're hoping that these voices will not just be voices on social media, will not just be statistics that we see in the papers, but that this will be a direct interaction between the affected people and the policy makers and decision makers. So it hits differently when it hits close to home. That's what I usually say. So for them to see these people close to them, knowing that this person who is speaking is from my local government, this person stays in the other local government, this person is from that state or this state, not just what they see on TV, but they see them one-on-one. The hope is that even if we cannot get to the end of the insecurity now, at least there will be decisions made, there will be policies made from these conversations that can lead us to the path of peace.
Thank you so much for the live update, Bernard, and we will let you get back to setting the stage. The town hall is set to be live right after Jasiri, so viewers do keep it locked in. We'll take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere as we'll return for like a life-changing conversation on stress wellness, because whether we like it or not, stress doesn't just weigh on the mind, it also takes a toll on the body. But how can we build a balance and live well in today's fast-paced world? That and more we'll find out when we return. Dr. Tolu Taiwo, one of Nigeria's leading experts on stress management and healthy living, will join us to unpack the powerful connection between the mind and the body. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the show. You're still watching Jasiri. Now today, we're turning the spotlight on an issue that quietly shapes our lives. It creeps into our daily routines, affects how we think, how we feel, and even how our bodies function. Now the truth is, stress is not just in the mind. It has a direct and powerful impact on our overall well-being. And understanding this connection between a healthy mind and a healthy body is key to living a balanced and fulfilling life. Now, to help us unpack this, we are joined by a remarkable guest, Dr. Tolu Taiwo. Now, he is not only one of Nigeria's leading experts on stress management and healthy living, he is also a seasoned medical doctor with more than 2 decades of practice. Beyond his medical career, Dr. Taiwo has served as a flight physician in emergency medicine, a leadership coach, and a trainer who has worked with some of the nation's top institutions and organizations. He brings with him a wealth of experience, passion for nation building, and a heart for people, having coordinated medical outreaches that have touched the lives of so many around the world. Dr. Taiwo, it's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again.
All this acronym.
Well, it's my first time meeting you, and but the excitement.
We commanded him that he had to
And I enjoy being here.
Well, I have to say you are blessed among women, obviously.
Thank
But
you.
Dr. Taiwo, Lagos is a city that never sleeps. And they also say that it is a pressure cooker. From your experience and your perspective, why do you think the Nigerians in general, but specifically Lagosians, are so stressed? And how is that stress manifesting in daily life?
Okay, so there was a study done a few years ago. It actually mentioned Lagos as probably the most stressful city in the world back then. So I can relate with that. Something about Lagos is there's always this urgency. I don't know where it started from. It's part of the culture. Because I've been to other states in Nigeria, and you can wake up 8 a.m. and everybody's still calm. You get on the streets, they're calm. Go to anywhere, go to the east. I've been to Enugu, I've been to Ibadan, I've been to Sokoto, different places. Everybody is calm. But Lagos, in fact, if you're driving into Lagos, say from Ojota, you will feel the heat in the atmosphere. So it's a culture that I don't know how it started. Maybe also because it's the commercial nerve center of the country. So there's always that urgency for people. They want to achieve things. Some people are just busy, but it's there in the air that in Lagos, you must always be in a hurry. So I think it's a cultural thing in Lagos for us.
I hear they say that, sorry, Lolly, because Calabar, nobody will answer you before 10.
Yes.
Oyo? I just came from Oyo.
Yes.
Maybe till 9. Do you know people are just getting to their stores at 9 o'clock? Even people selling things like food.
And you can't rush them.
No,
don't rush
they will
me.
tell you, no, they don't rush
cannot.
me.
You cannot.
Even service providers that you have called the day before that you will pay to come and do something, they know they rush me. I will come, I will meet you.
Life isn't that
I
hard.
served in Kogi State. It was the same thing then back then. Like the bus is going. I was as a cop, and it will stop on the road. Somebody's walking from like half a kilometer away. Then we wait. I was telling Ife a few weeks ago. Still the same thing. So.
Wow, the urgency of Lagos. Money to be made.
You can't try it.
You know, Dr. Taiwo, many times when people snap at bus stops, people are always snapping. This is a crab city. Everybody is snapping at something. You're either snapping in traffic or even at work. You know, sometimes it's often dismissed that you have a bad attitude. But can we draw a clear line between maybe unmanaged stress and rising anger and aggression that we see in the society? Because I would like to use, sometimes you don't know if this is stress related or somebody was just born angry.
Okay, so first of all, stress is unavoidable. We will all go through stress every day because stress in itself is more of a response. It's a response internally and even externally to stressors. Some are external, like you mentioned, the traffic, maybe the stress at work, you're having issues with somebody and all that. Also internally to everything you go through also stresses you. Your thoughts, negative thoughts especially, also stress. So it's always, there's a response. That is what stress really is. It's not a sickness or a disease.
It's a response.
Yes, it's a response to situations within and without. So when you understand that, you know that when something happens, you need to respond in a way that will not be adverse to you. Yes, we have different people with different temperaments. So somebody might be calm, some might be introverts or extroverts. That's part of it. But then you also need to know that you are responding to something. So if you try to understand what am I responding to right now, and try and be calm and then come up with the right response to it, it helps.
But how about anger? How do we blame, you know, because they're kind of related.
Yes.
And a lot of people exhibit either of it. So what would you say is anger? Now, okay, maybe Dr. just said stress is response. Is anger just within you? Is you?
Okay. So when it comes to anger, first thing, like I said, is first of all, try and be calm. You know, there's this thing they say that count to 10. So somebody does something that makes you angry, just calm down, maybe a second or two. When you calm down, then you can now also focus on what exactly is the issue, as opposed to the person has made you angry.
And you're responding.
Yeah, so why am I angry? What did the person do? So if you can look at that and try and focus on what the person did and try and, you know, tackle the problem. As opposed to maybe the person was rude to you, for instance, and you are like, okay, you are angry with the person. Yes, you will deal with that, but you look, why did the person say that? That's the first thing. Then you can now say, oh, okay, so you don't talk to me that way. So you try and separate issues. I think a bit of emotional intelligence too helps. Understanding yourself, first of all, one. Two, you should know your temperament. You should know that you are somebody who, for instance, is very expressive. So you could get angry easily. So when that situation comes, you try and tell yourself that, okay, Tolu, calm down, for instance, and say, okay. So you take a second to, first of all, arrange yourself and be calm internally. Then you now focus on the issue.
Because two people cannot be mad at the same time, can they?
Yes.
But we have, I don't know, maybe we have taken it for granted so much. We talk about Lagos being that everyone's on the go. Like Lolo say, were you born angry or it's just something you're responding to? Now you're breaking it down, although I would say it would be difficult for people to, you know, take that count to 10 in this because people react first before they think or before they count. But this culture of normalizing stress and accepting it as part of life, how dangerous is this? Because most times we don't think it's, we think na cruise. We just say I cheer for her, I wake for her, I do. But you know, we are walking down a dangerous path that a lot of people don't know. So please, can you enlighten us on the dangers of this path?
Okay, so let me, like I said earlier, stress, anger, they are two different things.
Yes.
So the things that we call stressors are the things that trigger the response. So the traffic, for instance, somebody says something you don't like, or they do something you don't like. So those are the stressors. How you now respond. So let's first of all get you right that stress will always come.
Yes.
That's one. So how you manage it is what will be the issue. Stress can be stress can be good or bad.
Stress.
Do you know stress can be good?
Good stress.
Yes, there is good stress.
Please,
Okay, so
I'm not digressing, but
yes.
now I'm curious.
Okay, so there is some stress that you need to even function well as a human being. First of all, physical stress. So that's why we say you should do exercise.
Okay.
So you need to do that.
Okay.
Also, your brain needs to be thinking and trying to solve problems and create things. So you need that. So there's a base level of stress you need. So when that good stress is overstretched, it becomes bad stress. For instance, you overwork. Maybe you should work, you have an 8-hour work day, you've done 10, 12 hours. There's going to be fatigue.
Yeah.
So that's bad stress, for instance. Yeah, so you need to know that stress is part of life. When you get that, you know that you are not abnormal because you face stress. So now how do you now deal with it? So it's an internal thing. For instance, we had the airline issues a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
Those people were stressed. But you see, they responded the wrong way. And then there were consequences. So when you tell yourself that, like I said, be calm, calm down, calm yourself internally. You might even be talking out, saying your mind, but inside be calm and tell yourself, I'm not going to do anything silly, anything that can get me in trouble. So you are communicating with yourself.
Okay, seeing that we have failed to do that, what does it, in the long run, how does it affect? People need to know how dangerous it is.
Does stress kill you?
Of course.
Stress can kill. Why do I say can kill? You see, people don't know that stress, like I said, is not a sickness, but it can be a factor for up to 70% of illnesses. I'll give you an example, for instance.
Nerves has to be.
If you keep overworking physically, you don't rest well, you don't get enough sleep, for instance, it can raise your heart rate. If that is sustained, it can raise your blood pressure. Blood pressure not controlled can lead to stroke. Stroke can kill. Stress too of the mind, not properly managed, can lead to depression. Depression is the #1 cause of suicide. Stress also, we heard of things like stress ulcers, for instance. Stress can cause ulcers. So in different ways, stress, it may not be immediate, but slowly, gradually, it can cause problems.
Okay, you talked about good stress, bad stress, you know. I just want to ask, because I think it happened to me a while back. What happens when mental stress and physical stress come together?
Okay, so physical stress, yes, is when you do activities.
Exercising and
exercising, you know, like you're working now, you know, that's physical. Now, the mental part is, you know, there's what we call psychosomatic issue. That is, psycho has to do with the brain. Soma is the physical body. So, in fact, the mental can even affect the physical. So if your mind is not at rest, at peace, you know, you have issues, negative thoughts and all that affecting you, after a while, it can actually cause symptoms in your body. So you see, I've seen people that have managed that have come with all kinds of symptoms from backache, headache, everything. And they did tests and the tests were normal. But you realize that they were not resting well. Their mental state was not at the best. So that's why we call it psychosomatic. From the mental side, it can even cause symptoms physically. And so there's a connection. So
in such cases, how do you get rid of those symptoms?
Okay, so yes, first of all, there are ways to manage stress. One is adequate sleep and rest. People underestimate that. And that's where Lagos comes in.
How many hours? Because I've seen,
not hours or
I've
weeks.
Seen, a lot of people argue about this timing. Some will say 8 hours is okay, some will say 6 hours. What's the adequate time for sleep?
Okay, so generally 6 to 8 hours is recommended that you sleep every day based on research. So when you do that, your body will rest physically, your mind too will rest. For instance, your blood pressure will be controlled because you have gotten enough sleep. There are also other things that happen while you sleep. The body actually will fight sickness and disease. Things like cancer and all that.
Yeah.
Your immune system is working while you're sleeping. You know, also, when you sleep well, your memory is restored. So some of the things that that happen during the day, you're agitated and maybe you're trying to remember something, it's because you didn't get enough sleep. If you don't sleep well for 2-3 days, you start forgetting things. So the one you also mentioned about resting for days or weeks, sometimes maybe the person is really stressed. You may need to take a few days off or a week or two and get some rest.
But even then, when you tell people to rest or take time off of work, they have their phones, there are other softer things that distract them. How do you then really...
It's a personal thing. You have to tell yourself that, see, your health is the most important thing. If your health is not at a good level, you can't even function. So oftentimes we overwork. You know, you notice that in the Western world, when people are on break, on leave, they actually travel out for weeks. But in Nigeria, somebody's on leave and they probably go and work somewhere else or do something else.
So,
They are cheating themselves. But you're cheating yourself. So they understand that. They will save money to go on vacation.
Yeah.
Because at that point, your body will rest, your mind will rest. You even get fresh ideas. You become more creative.
A recent study, a survey rather, showed that over 70% of Lagos residents report high stress levels daily. And experts have linked this to rising cases of hypertension, depression, and even violent outbursts in public spaces. So it means that stress isn't just a personal health issue, it's a social one. But Dr. Taiwo, beyond the individual, right, there is an economic and a social cost of stress on the city, on the state, and even Nigeria, the country at large, let me put it that way. So how does it affect things like productivity and workplace output and even public safety?
Okay, so like I actually said earlier, that stress can lead to things like hypertension and depression, like you mentioned. So when you have those kind of things, people they will skip work days. So that affects productivity. Also, when mentally they're not in a good state, it also affects their work. They can't be creative as they should be. They can't be that productive. So that is why stress is such an important issue, and it's often undermined. We don't get how critical it is.
I think that, I mean, speaking from a creative standpoint, the stress levels as a creative is ridiculous. And I've spoken about this on a different platform before, where we don't think about how stress affects our creativity. Like, we think we should just keep going and going and going, but one day your body will shut down. One day your mind will shut down. And then when you now hit things like creative blocks, mind blocks, you can't write, you can't create, you can't do anything. Yes, I have a friend of mine who said, like, there was one day, he's a photographer, a well-known photographer, and there was one day he couldn't get up from his bed.
Wow.
It was as if his mind paralyzed his body.
And it wasn't like malaria or nothing?
No malaria, no sickness, it wasn't a stroke. I mean, he thought he was having a stroke, but his mind just shut down his body for a whole week. Now his wife, they carry him. He says his wife was giving him a bed bath. Like, he literally could not do anything. And he was so scared, he had to, pretend as if he was not in the home, so his kids won't see him in that way. Yeah, in that state. So it's so this whole conversation about wellness and co, because some people can say, oh, it's new age thinking, but it's not, because it's so critical to how we perform as individuals, how we perform in the workplace, and how we perform collectively as a nation.
Yeah. From just riding on the back of what Buki described, I know that you have worked internationally, maybe as a flight physician and emergency doctor. That means you have had the privilege of seeing the world through maybe a global lens. So if you're looking at Nigeria in comparison to some other parts of the world, how would you say we're doing? Because I know that there must be stress in other parts of the world too. Americans must have some kind of stress.
America is probably more stressful than Nigeria now.
Exactly, because people just think it's because we don't have light. Yeah. There are so many things that make us stressed, even if you don't want to be stressed. Imagine coming from work, there's no light. That means you can cook, you are not okay.
And you've just
the road that you drove to get home is bumpy, your body is in a crisis. So, but some other parts of the world don't have all those stress levels or stress triggers like we have. What would you compare Nigerian stress to other parts of the world, at least through your own eyes?
Okay, so for Nigeria, like I said, Lagos is the main place where the stress level is really high. Other parts are lower. I don't know, maybe Port Harcourt a bit, maybe a bit Abuja, but Lagos mainly, I think. The major stress for other parts of Nigeria is the economic factor. That's what really stresses people. The socio-economic. So like you said, there's no lights, you have to put on the gen, you know, you're looking for, you know, okay, fuel scarcity is not there, no, but you still have to, you need fuel for the gen, you know, and so it's really mainly the socio-economic side. For other parts of the world, the stress levels are high. America, they have a high work ethic. Yes, people work hard in America. It's one of the highest places where there's a lot of work. In even in Europe, the UK, yes, there's a lot of work. You know, because here in Nigeria, working is a bit flexible. If you're working in UK or US, you're working 8 hours. You work 8 hours.
8 hours.
In Nigeria, you can still find a, you know how it is in Nigeria that you can just take a little time off here and there. You know, you do a gist a bit, move around a bit. So the work itself is not so stressful, but it's just the conditions around that make it so stressful. So if some things can be improved, like power supply, you know, the infrastructure, healthcare system in Nigeria, I believe it will help a lot in improving the stress levels in the country.
You know, when you talk about work.
This thing you talked about, working 8 hours and all that, should that be? Because I think we've gotten to a point where we talked about economic stress. The stress you have to go through looking for, you know, how to feed yourself, money to be made and all that. It's even enough. So in workplaces, shouldn't there be like a change when it comes to, you know, the days and hours? Because I know some states, you know, for example, Kaduna State, it's official now. You only work 4 days, 3 days off. Just to make it easier. Yes,
in public and private spaces?
Wow. Can I go there?
It's been that way for 2 years.
Yeah, and even that, I have seen new age offices where they have sleeping room.
Exactly.
They put bean bags on the floor, and I'm not joking. I actually saw their professional.
They have
maybe
basketball.
Okay.
They just go there to lie down and sleep.
Even in Nigeria, but it's the international companies that have things like that because they understand that it fuels, you know, workplace productivity.
Yes. I ask because we know that, you know, stress doesn't affect people the same way, not equally. So how can families, you know, workplaces, and even schools support healthier, you know, habits to reduce the circle of, you know, stress that people go through?
Okay, so work hours, 8 hours is not so bad really if it's 8 hours. That's a 40-hour work week. So, but sometimes you see 8 hours goes beyond 8 hours. You add the traffic, commuting, and all that. But and then there are researches that have been done on four days, you know, of work in a week, even internationally. So some companies are trying to adopt that. But so other things can be done. You can be flexible. You know what happened with COVID is everything changed.
Yeah.
So we were working virtually. So now I know companies now that even here in Nigeria, they don't do 5 days physical anymore. They do maybe 3 days and then, physical and then
2 days work from home.
Yeah, so but you have to know how you're going to monitor people, make sure you know they have their KPIs, and then they can still achieve the results. I think most times employers look at how will people be productive if they are not coming. So if you can work out a system where you know that you can still achieve your goals and people can get a day or two to work from home.
Hybrid,
yes,
you know, working
to do hybrid helps. So that's another way to do it.
But what practical strategies can we adopt, especially in Lagos? She's talking about Kaduna. First thing that came to my mind, I said, probably because it's Kaduna. It's not as highly engaging as Lagos is, you know, economically and otherwise. But we that are living in Lagos or in high-stress zones in the country, what practical steps can we adopt as individuals to make sure that, you know, we reduce stress? Because we're also looking at productivity. You're looking at earning power. You're looking at, okay, someone say, if I don't work 8 hours and I work 6 hours, when I come home, what am I doing for the rest of the... Some people actually struggle with their downtime. What am I doing? I'm bored. Because they're just used to working. What can we do to just taper that down a bit?
Okay, so it's a personal thing. The first thing is you understand that, like I said earlier, your health is your most valuable asset. And I keep saying that to people. You know, you think of so many things, you know, we are chasing this and chasing that. But this, your physical body, is the right you have to be here on earth. If it's not functioning well, you won't even be here. So we need to first of all get that right, that this is the thing you must watch out for and place top priority on it. Then you fashion your life in a way that helps your health. So you should have your purpose. Why do you do what you do?
Yeah.
So what are your goals? What are your financial goals? Because somebody will say, oh, maybe I'm earning 1 million a month or 500,000 a month, or I want something higher, or maybe 200,000 a month. And then you get to 200, the next thing you want to go to 500, you want to go to, so where do you draw the line? So those are things we need to do personally and say, you don't compete with other people.
Yeah.
Some people are competing with others. You should have a personal plan for yourself, personal goals, and then also always ensure that you rest well, like I said. Ensure that your mind, yes, negative thinking is one of the major stressors.
Sure.
So don't allow fear, anxiety, worry to overwhelm you. Whenever there's a situation, first of all, like I always say, calm yourself down. Calm down. Tell yourself that, look, this thing, you're going to find a solution. So focus on solutions. Then also build a supportive network around you. Have people, family and friends that you can relate with, that you can share your burdens with, which is also very important.
I'm looking at it. I just want to ask a quick question, maybe before we go on break.
Yes, we'll go on a break quickly. As you can tell, we're pretty engaged in this conversation because stress and wellness and management are all things that we should be thinking and talking about. But right after the break, we'll be coming back and speaking for the home stretch with Dr. Tolu Taiwo. Welcome back. As you can hear, conversations are still happening on this table. Dr. Taiwo, I don't know what question
I wanted to ask it from
Lolo
a
wants to
policy.
ask.
Yes, I wanted to ask from a policy point of view because I have known some workspaces that allow their staff to monetize their leaves. That means they'll pay them in lieu of their leaves. Should such things not be outlawed, like made illegal? Because abroad, they say some offices will outrightly refuse. Is it not something that we should have as a policy that when it's time for leave, you cannot monetize it?
You just
have to go. And maybe you have to even bring evidence of leave activity.
Really?
That's a bit extreme.
That you have to bring a video of you, enjoy, or just doing something restful. Because,
sorry, Dr. Taiwo, add that question to this one, which is, do you believe in counseling in workplaces as well? Having a therapist or counseling. In fact, a therapy conversation is a whole different one. So perhaps
even
maybe
the therapist
yes, because even the therapist.
therapy.
Yeah, but do you believe in counseling as well? Is that something that workplaces can also add as strategies to combat or even manage stress levels of their employees?
Okay, so yes, first of all, the leave issue, I think people should get their leave. Their leave should be approved. Because another thing, some companies don't even approve your leave. So it should be made a right. And then the monetization thing should be cancelled. You should not monetize your leave. It's time for leave, you go on leave, and then you go and rest. And then, sorry, the other question was...
Counseling.
Yes. In America, shrinks are everywhere. Psychologists, in fact, any small thing, they go there, you go to the shrink, that's what they tell you. So I think, yes, there should be some provision in our workplaces for that counseling, either in the company itself, or they should have some expert that they can refer their people to. It's very necessary because these days, mental health issue is so much a critical issue. And one of the reasons why, yes, that we haven't mentioned is there is an information overload in this generation, in this our time. It wasn't like this before. When we were younger, there were no smartphones, so there was even not, so there could not be anything like social media and all that. But you see, the information that even a 10-year-old or a 6-year-old has to deal with now is amazing. So that alone keeps your brain working. And then so you're working, you also pick your phone, you're on social media, you're going from one side to the other, you're doing all that. That alone keeps people's brains working.
Yeah.
So you need to also manage your screen time. It's part of the stress management. There's a way many people are addicted. We have to try and cut that down as much as possible.
We are sleeping, that your phone is sleeping also.
Earlier you said, you believe people should always take their leaves, right? Well, it won't be a bad idea if a leave allowance will be included, while people who work, when they go on leave, you add a little bit allowance for them.
Yes, there should be.
And, they can have fun, enjoy themselves. Yeah, but, aside that, we know that Buki talked about therapy.
Okay.
We know that not everyone has access to, wellness programs or even therapy. They do not have the means to go to a spa, gym, and, all that. So for people like that who are always thinking about the next meal, the next money to make, how to keep their family together, what affordable habits can they inculcate to be able to, relieve them of stress?
Most
or
Nigerians, when you think of the money you're going to spend in therapy, like Dashin spend, you say, my dear, in fact, they used to add it to manual. What can we do manual?
They used to add it to questionnaires. They used to ask to questionnaires, what are your hobbies? My hobbies now are making money.
Okay. That becomes a hobby.
Always. There's even one sound. Where do you find me? Always making money.
So you see, or once you step out, 10K don't go. You never go anywhere.
Then you'll be afraid. That's also trauma.
Yeah.
You'll be afraid to leave your house because, guy, to move yourself from one place to another.
It's stress-inducing.
Close eye open, 30K if you want to feel like a big boy or big girl.
Okay, so basic things we've said before: sleep. Get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. I'm telling you.
But don't have you not found out that
Then
right now they are more
exercise.
insomniacs.
How long?
But it's part of it. But
part of it. Then
let him finish his
yes.
thoughts.
Okay, adding to that sleep is the screen time. You have to shut down. You must tell yourself, see, I'm going to sleep by 10 or whatever. You shut down.
Let me speak like this.
I do.
Babali,
You
that's
switch.
it.
You know what I do when I'm going to sleep is I actually switch off my data. Not because
Me too.
I don't have data, but I don't want those notifications.
When you remember you're meant to find out a price of something and then you're like, oh, my phone is close to me, let me turn on my data. And then you go back to remember, oh, I thought about this. You pick up your phone as well.
Once I shut down, once in a while,
How long do you sleep?
I try to get at least 6 hours.
Lola, how long do you sleep?
6 hours on good days.
Oh, on bad days?
On bad days, 4.
In fact, let me
How
shock
long do
you.
you sleep?
They're about the same.
Let me shock you. If you sleep adequately every day, you don't need an alarm clock. Your body knows how much sleep you need. I don't use alarm clocks unless really maybe I have one appointment, I really have to wake up early and I don't want to miss it. Maybe I have a flight or something. I don't. Your body, most times I sleep about 6 hours, max 7, because even when my body will wake up after that 6, 7 because it has rested well. So I don't need stimulants like caffeine. I don't take coffee. Maybe if I do occasionally, I'm at a function and I just take a little or something. So I don't take energy drinks. So when you sleep well, you rest well, your body will wake up refreshed at the right time.
Please, I want to ask something about that timing, sir. Most you, like me, my body re-regulated itself like a year ago because I had insomnia in 2022, I think 2021 or thereabout. For a whole year, I found it.
So how did you solve this?
But what now my body reverted to is that now I have a sleep pattern. If I don't sleep, I sleep between 8:30. By 8:30, my body starts to shut down. But I would sleep, but I would wake up like maybe 2:33.
Okay.
Is that okay? Some people tell me they sleep at 12.
You've gotten like 6 hours.
You've gotten about 6 hours. Like my mom would go to bed at 9:30. By 3, 4, she's out.
Let me just add. So sleeping at a particular time also helps.
What I do.
It's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. every day. It's also part of what helps your body. You don't just sleep different times. That's sleeping at a particular time also.
So routine. So routine.
Sometimes you sleep and you wake up. You sleep well, very well. You sleep for like 8 hours or even more, and then you wake up feeling very tired and sleepy.
What were you thinking about before you slept? And have you woke up thinking about the same thing?
Okay.
Many times that happens, yeah.
Yes, she's right. So sometimes to your dominant thoughts just before you fall asleep can also make you have a troubled sleep.
Yeah.
So try and focus on calm things. Maybe before you sleep, just try and think about the day and try and relax your mind and all that. Sometimes you are watching stuff that can, get your mind up, or you are really worrying about something. So try and calm your mind down before you sleep. Focus on positive things.
Yeah.
In fact, some people go as far as thinking positive thoughts, making some positive affirmations before they sleep and all that. So that helps.
Okay.
Oh, these questions, anyway, it can be as expansive. We can talk about this for the next 2 hours because I'm sure we all have different stories and experiences and questions to ask. But we do have to go. Lolo,
Where is all the time? I answer one question because I know that stress management and general well-being is some topic we have to constantly put before people for their general well-being.
Yes.
But time, I'm looking at it and it's like, we just have to go from legal stress to just peace building. One thing is clear, whether in our homes, workplaces, or communities, we need to start paying attention to the things that weigh on us and we weigh on and find healthier ways to deal with them. I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Tolu, for sharing, from your wealth of knowledge and the insights that you have given us as calmly as you always give us. Hopefully, we will inculcate them and strive to lead, stress-free lives. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's where we can, that's where we'll leave it on Jasiri today. I want to say thank you to everyone for watching. And until the next time, let's keep the conversations about heal and transform our society. Let me finish my script.
Sorry.
Yes, ladies, you're stressing me out. Yes.